Hey, welcome back to the Disturbing Illusion channel. We're just going to jump right into it. Tom Fitton had tweeted on Truth Social, good news, reports are incoming at real Donald Trump administration prepared to declare a national emergency and will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program. And then Trump confirmed it yesterday just by saying true exclamation point times 3. So Trump is going to use, or he says he's going to use, the military industrial complex to conduct this wide scale sweep of getting rid of the undocumented immigrants. This is from Al Jazeera. Trump says he's ready to use the military national emergency for mass deportations. So what happens when there's a crisis situation? The U.S. government will not let a good crisis go to waste. And if emergencies allow them to take our rights away, what's to stop them from creating more national emergencies to take away more rights? Do you trust Trump? Do you trust what he's doing here? U.S. President-elect says he may use controversial measures to fulfill campaign promise, but questions over authority remain. So they talk about this Truth Social post, and they say the statement is the firmest message yet on how Trump plans to fulfill his campaign promise to conduct the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. The effort has spurred condemnation from rights advocates and raises questions about feasibility. My question is this going to extend beyond illegals? Isn't it a dangerous thing to have the military industrial complex occupy American soil for the purposes of the federal government? That's just one question I have. And before we move on further, I want to show you a post that was retweeted by Anomaly. Now, apparently Anomaly has blocked me, and somebody told me he made a video about me, and it was filled with ad hominems. I had not seen the video yet. I don't plan on taking a look at it because this guy doesn't appear to have any kind of interest in promoting the truth, only his own popularity. That's the way I see it. So Trump actually posted on November 17th, we're coming up on the 5-year anniversary of Convid 1984 by George Orwell, or the shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter, according to James Bullard from the Federal Reserve. Remember when they hoodwinked us about that? And if you recall, under President Trump's leadership, we had incredible public health policies. President Trump's unparalleled creation of the military project called Operation Warp Speed was one like we've never seen before. Anomaly says, breaking, Trump is still bragging about Operation Warp Speed. Well, guess what? Anomaly voted for Operation Warp Speed. Anomaly gave his consent away to the Trump administration, so if they do it again, they do it with Anomaly's vote and consent. That's what you did, Anomaly. Make no mistake, these were the worst health policies in modern history, and Operation Warp Speed was part of the biggest pharmaceutical con job, says Anomaly, of the century. Yeah, of course, and yet you still voted for him. It was the greatest power and wealth transfer that the world, not just the United States, but the world has ever seen. And then Anomaly posts this on November 18th. Trump is still bragging about his garbage socialist VAXX endeavor because for the past 3 years, nobody on the right gave him a serious journalistic interview with intelligent and factual pushback. Do you think if Trump had an interview with intelligent and factual pushback, do you think Trump would stop bragging about Operation Warp Speed and the VAXX and saying that he's the father of the VAXX and overseeing and signing off on the biggest power and wealth transfer in world history, $6.2 trillion? And just to remind you how massive a sum $1 trillion is, if you earned $1 for every second you were alive, that'd be like $86,400 per day, or about $6.5 million a year. How long would you have to live to collect your first $1 trillion if you earned $1 every second that you were alive? You'd have to, it's such a massive sum that you would have to live 31,709 years to collect your first $1 trillion. And yet Trump, with one signature, signed off on $6.2 trillion, most of which went to the bankers, to the corporate elitists, and the big pharma industrial complex. And yet, against that backdrop, Anomaly chose to give his consent away to a psychopathic, big pharma controlled puppet. Unfrickin' believable. And I want to close this video with this video that I just saw this morning. It was done 13 days ago, but it's from Zuby. A lot of people like Zuby. I don't have a problem with these guys, okay? I do question their mentality, and I wonder how much information they have, how much information they ignore to just continue to vote for parasitic political psychopaths. This is entitled Trump Won, My Thoughts by Zuby. Listen to what he says.
It's a huge victory. Not just winning the Electoral College, but massive victory in the popular vote as well. I mean, what a freaking comeback compared to 2020, whatever you may think about that. So, I'm not from America. You guys would know that. Those of you who know me, you know I'm not from the US. I am an undercover Brit and Nigerian as well. But I spent a lot of time in the USA. Absolutely love the country. Been to over half of the states. Got so many people I know and love in the USA. And this is also my biggest audience that's out there. Now, not everyone who follows me, not everybody I'm close to, not all of my friends, acquaintances, or followers are necessarily Trump supporters. I know that there's a leaning that way, and there has been for the past 5 or 6 years at minimum. But I want to tell you guys what this represents, because like I said, I'm over here in the Middle East, and I can tell you all the people I've been talking to in Dubai, pretty much, not all, but the vast majority have been hoping for Trump to win. People all around the world have been hoping for Trump to win. I think there's an exception to that with many European countries, but outside of that, I think most people have been wanting Trump to win. And I think this represents a victory for common sense. It represents a victory for free speech against censorship. It represents
a victory for common sense, a victory for free speech when he and his new Department of Homeland Security appointee, Kristi Noem, want to create policies that say you can't criticize Isra double hockey sticks. That's free speech. And what common sense are we talking about? That's a victory for common sense. People on Kamala's side say, if Kamala won, it would have been a victory for common sense. What does that even mean?
Victory for the desire for global peace and harmony, not warmongering, not proxy.
Global peace and harmony, while Donald Trump dropped more bombs in 4 years than Obama did in 8. How's that global peace and harmony, Zuby? I'm seriously asking you, man. Do you not know about the 46 bombs he dropped every single day? Missiles launched, Tomahawk missiles, bombs. The military industrial complex profited greatly under Trump's 4-year term, even greater than Obama's term in 8 years. Donald Trump racked up, on the books it says $8.4 trillion in national debt in 4 years. But if you really add the $4 trillion that disappeared from the CARES Act, it was supposed to be $2.2 trillion, and the Federal Reserve put themselves a backstop in there of $6.2. So $4 trillion is added to the national debt. So Donald Trump increased the national debt $12.4 trillion in 4 years, and Obama barely did $9 trillion in 8. Is that good? Is that sound economics? Is that good for the American people, or is it robbing the time and laboring energies of the American people? That's what you, and Zuby's going to say here in a second that he would have voted for Trump all 3 times. He says, I guess 2016, 2020, and 2024, but because he's a Brit, he can't vote for him, but he would have. That's what you would have voted for, Zuby.
Wars going on in Eastern Europe, across the Middle East, and so on. As inflammatory as some of his rhetoric may be, there was more peace worldwide under Donald Trump, and people want that. People want lower inflation. People care about the economy. People care about their families.
More perceived peace isn't really peace at all.
They're not trying to trans their kids. They don't want boys in female sports. They don't want all of the goofy woke crap. They don't want an open border that is undermining the entire nation. They don't want foreign countries being put ahead of the USA itself. These are not just things that affect Americans. These are things that affect people all around the world. And this is why people all around the world are keeping an eye on and caring about this US election. Now, there's a part of me that really wants to gloat right now. I'm someone who, if I were American, I would have voted Trump the last straight the 3 last straight elections. I've been very open about that fact. I'm not even like some super duper hardcore Trump guy, but to me, he's just clearly the better option. Not just him as an individual, but the wider administration.
You're super duper hardcore if you would have voted for him the last 3 times. Let's just face it. And voting is giving away your consent. I would have, in other words, when you say you voted or you're going to vote, you're saying, I gave away my consent, or I'm willing to give away my consent to this organization that I know is going to do evil, so that when they do evil, they do it with your consent in your name. I mean, there are people out there who will argue till they're blue in the face against this, but it's as plain as the nose on your face. If you vote, your vote is your consent to have that administration rob and rule the rest of the people in that country and wreak havoc in countries all across the world. So when they wreak havoc, when they do evil, when they increase the coffers of the military industrial complex and the prison industrial complex, and they add $12.4 trillion of national debt, thereby devaluing the product of your time and laboring energies, they did it with your approval, with your consent. And that is why it's important for the powers that shouldn't be to have you go out there and vote, because they want you demoralized. They want you dehumanized. They want you voting for evil, the lesser of 2 evils, but evil nonetheless. See, no people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued when knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved. On the contrary, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. What does it mean, debauched in their manners? People who vote for evil, people who vote for evil people who will do evil things, and they will. That's being debauched in your manners.
Can't talk. The wider administration. And now that you've got people like RFK Jr. on board, of course you've got the legend Elon Musk on board, you've got Tulsi Gabbard on board, you've got a coalition that is forming.
All gun grabbers, all anti-Second Amendmenters, every single one of them.
People who are traditional right-wingers or conservatives, but people who are some of them former lifelong Democrats, and they're all coming together. They want to make America great again, they want to make America healthy again, and they want a return to normalcy and common sense. People care about the economy, they care about safety, they care about the border. This has been a denial of identity politics, right? It hasn't just been, hey, you have to vote for this person because she's a woman. Hey, you have to vote for this person because she is not just a woman, but a woman of color. This is a black woman. This is a non-white woman. All of this divisiveness, which people claim is coming from the right, but which for a decade at least has been coming more from the left side of the aisle, splitting.
Divisiveness comes from politics. Divisiveness comes from the existence of the left versus right paradigm lie, from Team Red and Team Blue. It's inherently divisive. Republicans cause division, Democrats cause division. And the banksters who bankroll all this, the people who own Congress, AIPAC, they want this division. It's very, very important. It's vital for this division to be front and center under the big top so that the people in the stands can be distracted from what's really going on.
According to gender, splitting according to race, just lying about the opposition. People accuse Donald Trump of lying. Oh, he's saying his rallies are bigger than they are. Okay, sure, he's done that stuff for decades. But when you're talking about massive lies, when you're talking about former presidents and people in the media still pretending that he said white supremacists are very fine people, all of this stuff, there have just been so many hoaxes, there's been so much nonsense, and they've just been lying to our face. Not just America.
This is such small beans. The big beans is the national debt, Operation Warp Speed. I like take the guns first, due process second, red flag law, gun confiscation laws, and bump stock bans. Those are the real things that reveals the heart. This hobnobbing with all the billionaires, not jailing Hillary Clinton, but on inauguration day, when he gets inaugurated in 2016, he says, I got a lot of respect for Bill and Hillary Clinton, and leads the entire room in a standing ovation. All this other stuff that he just mentioned is just small potatoes. It's diversion tactics.
Americans, all of us, they've been lying for this whole past decade. They're literally telling you that men can get pregnant. They're telling you that women can have penises. You cannot get more absurd than that. So personally,
that is truly absurd. It is absurd. We need to hold fast to truth. But a general dissolution of principles and morals will more surely overthrow the liberties of Americans than all the force of the common enemy. While the people are virtuous, they cannot be subdued. Tell me how you can retain your virtue by voting for somebody you know is a political parasitic psychopath.
I'm freaking happy that Trump wins. I think this is a massive W for the USA, and I think it's a massive W for the rest of the world. So shout out to everybody who...
Boy, is a lot of people in for a big surprise and a rude awakening. Leave your thoughts about this. Let me know what you think about what Zuby said. Let me know what you think about who Anomaly is and what the heck he is doing. Let me know what you think about Donald Trump's post on Truth Social that he is going to declare a national emergency and institute military assets on American soil. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel further, the links are in the description. Grab a shirt, become a channel member, but more importantly, hold fast to your rights, hold fast to your integrity. I will see you in the next video.